strain damage. This is your brain on buds. Today's episode is a little bit different. As you can tell, we are not at the Chronic Cowboy Art Gallery. We are in a grow house in an undisclosed location. Today's episode being sponsored by Oasis, grown from the river. Good water quality, good soil quality, nothing but good shit. And we have today Oasis's chief architect, the master grower, Breese himself. Jay, what's going on?
How are you doing, man? Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for your hospitality. I know we're setting up this podcast right in the midst of little operation here.
Yeah.
No, this is. The sound quality is still working. Hopefully.
No, it's Jay. Yeah, we're in the transitioning phase, right, Jay? You're about to be throwing in some new plants.
Yes. Yeah. We just had a harvest. We just got this whole place cleared out, so we're starting over, trying a new genetic, and going from there. That's what we do is try new things, experiment.
So this is like an R&D cannabis lab. You just kind of experiment, try new things, throw a bunch of shit against the wall, see what sticks and what doesn't.
Yeah, that, and I have several master growers behind myself, so, always great intellects, pushing me and trying new things, trying to get new product out there, always organic, always safe. No pesticides, no additives, no bloom nothing. Just water, earth, air.
Yeah. No, the essentials. I mean, we're in a day and age where, even with food products, right, it's loaded with a bunch of preservatives, all of these things that can negatively impact health. I mean, Alex Jones wasn't kidding when he said, "Hey, listen, we're making the frogs gay with the water." Like, there is a lot of harmful stuff out there, so that's really good to hear. Even sometimes, you're at a local dispensary in Albuquerque, you pick up a pre-roll, and then they're legally required to disclose if it's there's sulfates or anything else.
The hard metals and everything else you're gonna find, the micro. I mean, it goes deep into there, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
So we've gone that far into it to figure out what's in this stuff, because anyone can grow.
Yeah.
But to grow correctly, that's the key. And that's what I think we got to be doing as a people, and to be responsible about it, is getting that healthy stuff out there. For instance, the guy I've grown, we'll call him Old McDonald, my master grower, taught me for these many years.
Yeah.
Totally organic. He's 80 years old. Been smoking for 60 years, and no lung problems, no cancer. That's what turned me on, and that's how I know that guy's on it. That guy's got the right thing. He's doing it the correct way, and that's why.
It's like all those motherfuckers that go to Italy and are like, I'm eating pizza, I'm eating pasta, tiramisu, and they come back and they're like, hey, I actually lost weight doing all of this. Exactly. Just because there's no preservatives and everything is purely milk, eggs, very, very simple ingredients. So it's wonderful to see yourself and others kind of using that philosophy for the cannabis industry.
Indoor and outdoor.
Indoor and outdoor. Shit. How did you get started with growing? Actually, you know what? Let's take that a step further back. How did you get started with cannabis? Like, maybe you were how old? First time you smoked? I don't know. Like,
we were just talking about this.
So I was about in the 5th grade. It's about 1995.
All right.
My old man. He's not with us anymore. Politician at the time, actually. And I'm fishing, and he's like, "You want to smoke some rope?" I'm like, "I don't know what that is, but I'm trying not to be not cool." I took that joint. And,
I guess I'll try some rope.
The rest is history, man. My Uncle Jay got me on it. My whole life I've been fascinated by this plant. I've been in trouble for this plant. I've been incarcerated. I'm an activist for it. Anything you can do with this plant, I've had happen to me. My mother used to find my stuff and throw it down the toilet. Now I have her working in my fields, trimming my stuff. And she still calls it dope and stuff, but that's where we come from.
Some stigma is going to be there forever, but at least there's been progress moving forward.
No, but I feel you on that though. Like, I've been literally fired from every job for smelling like dank, dog. And it's like I could be one of the most stellar employees there, but the second somebody smells the devil's lettuce on my breath, then I'm canned the next day. You know what I mean?
And that's unfortunate, because it's not one of those things where if you show up, very drunk or on heroin, that's clearly not helping your performance. But in some cases, like, you know, for designing websites and mobile apps, which is historically what I've been doing, is in some cases it's a performance enhancing drug. If you're stuck in the middle of like, fuck, how do I design this one screen? Or you're having confusion, like, what the fuck do I put here? And then suddenly, you know, your neurons are firing in a different manner.
And that could be applied to any job on the planet.
The thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I've mentioned is a specific example as like a creative professional. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, literally, it does make some people more social or you know, better people skills. So it could be a performance enhancing drug.
I definitely believe it. Coming up, so about 5th grade is when I found it.
Yeah.
I was told, you know, Josh, I'm from a third world country, I'm from Brazil. Josh, you can't be...
Portuguese?
Yes, now I can't. No Portuguese.
Okay.
Sorry. Northeast Heights talk only. But being in the 5th grade, you know, I wasn't the best at reading, writing, and that stuff.
Right.
And, you know, they threatened to hold me back. Josh, you're doing this, and blah, blah, blah. That summer, that's the summer I found weed and really buckled down, and I kind of made a wager with them. Well, if I come back 6th grade, can read at the 6th grade level, you let me go and we don't hold me back. And they took me because they thought, there's no way Josh can do this.
Yeah.
So I started smoking weed, started reading, started writing for myself. Still write to this day, written 5 books myself. Go to school the next year, I was reading 3 grades ahead. So I mean, this isn't as bad as what they're trying to say. It's gonna be a gateway drug to anything else and everything else. No, I've never done meth, crack, heroin, none of that stuff, and I have no desire to.
I feel like when they say it's a gateway drug, that's more of the physical environment. Like people be, you know, smoking weed in the hood in areas where, you know, people aren't really doing things with their lives. Maybe, you know, I feel like that is just more the physical environment, maybe the people that surrounds you, more so than any specific substance at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, that's exactly what I believe. I mean, you could take it bad, you could take it good, but I mean, I haven't heard a family of 5 getting taken out on weed. No one's overdosed on it yet. If there's going to be one person, it's going to be me, and I'm still standing. I mean,
end of the day, the worst thing that happens is you eat a little bit too much ice cream, or you fall asleep like your homie on the couch. You were talking about earlier. So you've been an activist, you've been a consumer, an enjoyer, all things surrounding marijuana. When did we make the transition to becoming a grower?
So that was about 2006. I was immersed with a bunch of good growers. I mean, one of my boys, I mean, we all had street names. Saudi, I was getting weed from a guy named Bob Saget, and that was the early 2000s in Albuquerque. I mean, I still to this day don't know
those were your weed options in 2000s Albuquerque.
Yep. Saudi
Saudi Arabia and Bob Saget.
Yeah, those were the guys to go to. I mean, I still know these homies to this day. I mean, but that's where I picked it up. Started about 2000, started growing about for myself. Nothing very promising. I mean, I found out
Just
about
had
it.
like a couple plants in the house.
Had some hidden in the wall. Had some big bushes, but I mean, they would get the spider mites, or they get light, or they get some little deficiency here and there. I wasn't a great grower. I had transitioned, but I mean, that's where you get to becoming a grower. Is getting your hands dirty. I killed a bunch of plants, and that's when I found Jimmy. Lost my father to strokes and a heart attack, and when I met Jimmy, he was going through the same thing. Had a heart attack, had the strokes. Came to me, said, "Josh, I have a huge harvest I can't do. It's only 4 plants though. Can you do it?" I was like, "Dude, I'll do it for you, Jimmy. Won't take anything. I don't need anything." I see the plants, they're 12, 13 feet tall. I'm just like, whoa, okay.
Ooh, taking a few $100 at least.
And this is why he couldn't do it himself. So I did it for him, and you know, he was very appreciative. After he told me, he's like, "Josh, I'm going to teach you how to grow, and I'm going to take you under my wing." And since then, that's what it's been. I've been going with this guy, and he's been giving me the seeds from, again, I told you earlier, Amsterdam, Spain, and we've just been going, and I mean, this guy is amazing. I mean, I can see why he's been doing it so long. There's nothing to the game that has anything of chemical in it. You bring anything to the table that has any kind of chemical in it, you show it to him, and he explains to you what it is in detail. He'll break it down. I mean, I'm not the swiftest guy, so he'll say it in Josh Plain speak to me, so I get what he's saying.
Yeah, even Walter White got to simplify it for Jesse.
That's what everyone was calling us. This guy's all old, and he's teaching me. And I'm just this
teaching
random
you like
young
science
guy,
and chemistry, and you're
picking
like
up all his soil and stuff. Yeah, man. But he's done it a long time, made a good living for himself. I mean,
hell yeah.
Thank God he's still with us. And I mean, I still learn from him every day. I mean, you could call me a master grower, you could call him a master grower, but he doesn't like the term. I mean, because every day we learn something new about this plant. I just love his system because it's just so natural. I mean, even down to the pesticides. I came to him, I was like, well, what bug spray do we put around it? What do we do here? No. We're going to get marigolds, we're going to get this behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Natural versus kind of.
And I can show you the videos on my phone. You can ask my wife. No ants.
Yeah.
No bug. I'd have a caterpillar here and there, a grasshopper, but I mean, it wasn't crazy. It was just green, beautiful, and I mean, I had all my natural remedies to combat what we were doing this last season, like armies of ladybugs. I dumped them on. I had the mantises just before that. It just kept it so clean. And I did a small harvest for the farmland we have out there. I mean, I got quite a lot. I just did 10 trees, and it was nice. I mean, it wasn't too hard for us to handle it. I mean, I'm still selling it. I mean, a year later, and I'm just getting to the end of it. So I grew a decent amount. This year, we're going to try to exceed that by about 350 plants on the outside, and then we'll try to do, I'd say maybe a good 350 on the inside. Probably about 100 a room. See what we're going to do. Again, we're just still experimenting, seeing what we like. I think the benefit of what we do versus kind of the other guys in New Mexico is we didn't just start on April 1st.
Right.
I mean, forgive me for saying I've done this illegally a very long time.
Well, those are like I was talking about that the other day. Those are the magic makers. Like I remember, like in 2001, I'd be able to get an ounce, and I say this probably every episode, but I can't stress it enough that like in 2001, I'd get an ounce for $400, right? It'd be in a jar. It would be by somebody that risked their life, aka you, and it would be the most bombest weed that I'd ever smoked in my life, and that ounce would last me at least 4 weeks rather than 4 days or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like even nowadays, like I still find some fire strains even from California that I'll smoke through just because my tolerance is so high, because it's got built up from that expectancy since a child. You know what I mean? Like, so
Anthony likes the weed that makes him feel 17 again.
yes, exactly.
We're on the same page.
But I also.
And I think a lot of people, again, we were talking about earlier, like why do people call it a gateway drug, is because they had a high expectancy from the potency and the quality that we were getting, like in 1999, pre-98 Bubba Kush, like all that kind of shit that was fucking blowing our minds as teenagers. So now when you give us this already, like, and I hate to call the hybrids this, but it's like a hillbilly strain by now, where the cousins have been cousins upon cousins upon cousins upon cousins, to where when you smoke that plant, it's not half as strong as the stuff that was just the original mom plant. If you were just to keep the mom plant and keep that to grow through the whole 3 months or whatever, and let that shit bud, you know what I mean? Like honestly, like, and I think that's why we call this strain damage, because there has been a lot of damage to a lot of these strains over the years. But at the same time, what we're going to be trying to bring to the table, which I know you do, is we bring that bud to the table that really causes some damage. Like for real, you feel that shit cerebrally in your body. You can't deny that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like floating on cloud 25 right now because there's 25 different buds in this blunt, and I thank you so much for this.
337 different.
Oh, there we go.
337.
Oh my god.
Let's get it right.
She laughed because I got really precise when I put something.
So that's what it takes for me to talk like this, is 337 different types of bud.
And the big ass nug of super purple. Super with an A.
Right? But yeah, dude, I think there's a big difference between now and back when we first started smoking and seeing what actual chronic was, you know? So, yeah.
Oh, she hears me all the time say, it was yesterday we got back from Colorado and we tried some new stuff, and I was like, this tastes just like some Pacololo from Hawaii. Like, it's sticky, it's impossible to break up, it's moist beyond. I was like, where have I had that? I'm like, Hawaii. 2014. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah,
and she just looked at me. She's like, why don't you drive while you think about this? And so I'm like, oh.
Got a goddamn encyclopedia. Like
He's off.
That's what we are, is the genetics.
Exactly.
So, I can tell you about the strain from when I lived in Seattle. Oh man, the Blue Dream from up there, dude. I remember the first time I got it off some little elementary school kid. I went dry for 2 days, couldn't find weed. I was like, man, these are my people. I'm looking stupid to my other people because I can't find weed. And I just give up. I go to this elementary school, see this fat kid in a jersey. I'm like, do you got weed? He's like, bro, come here. Yeah. Finally, yes. I got. It was a fourth grader or some shit.
He opens his jacket. I got whatever you want.
It was great. He gave me his older brother's number because that made me feel a lot more comfortable. And just the smell, I was like, a little kid just gave me this. I'm just like addicted to the bag. He's like, are you gonna pay me? I'm like, just a minute, man. Like, hold on.
So that goes to prove the younger they are, the harder they ball, dog, and that means that they've stayed true to what they know sells, the shit that sells itself. And a lot of people, they don't do that, dude. You know what I mean?
They're gonna be very successful businessmen when they grow up.
And that's what I want to bring to New Mexico, is that genetic. I want to bring them that Blue Dream I had in Seattle, that quality, that Fruity Pebble from San Diego from my other people, that Vegas Sabertooth Crushers that we got, the Strawberry Dab, the Sherbet. I mean, I could do strains for hours.
I love it.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is get the good genetics. Because, I mean, I don't want to discredit anybody or try to hurt anyone trying to come up in the game.
No,
that's
never.
What it's about. It's
that's
about
not what we're doing.
How to grow, and dude, I'm down to teach anybody or help anybody out, and that's how we do. Is the knowledge is we keep learning. But that's what I want to do, is apply that to this market, because I feel like there's a few people getting those chemicals out. You know, I'll smoke a blunt of their stuff, and the ashes, they're not gray, they're black, or you get kind of just that smell, and you're getting the headaches after it.
Yeah.
That ash is supposed to be pure white, dude. Like this, dude. This shit's crazy, dog. Like all 300 plus buds in here were fully cured the right way, and that's why they were your favorite.
And I mean, we come across about 1,500 different strains a year. So I mean,
1,500 a year.
Yeah, that's how much. I mean, we're all over Seattle. I mean, that's what we do. I mean, this poor girl. That's all I do is throw her in a ride and chain her to it. We go to get this strain, try this, try this.
There's free bud involved though, right?
Yeah, right. There definitely is. Guinea pigs don't go hungry. No, for sure. But I mean, we just go all we find the greatest, and that's what I'll bring to the table, is with the real organic. That's what we do. I mean, down to our soil. We don't add the nutrients along the way like a lot of people like to inject that in, and I'm just.
Do you think because like New Mexico has slightly different weather and topography conditions versus like growers in California, like the Humboldt County motherfuckers, or people in Oregon, like do you think people maybe try to overcompensate then with nutrients and other things?
They try. I mean,
and water too.
They do that. You know, they're putting things in it, and they don't know they're hurting it, or they don't know what's in it. They don't read the fine math behind it. I mean, I admit sometimes I miss it, dude. I got to put through my guys like, dude, did you really look at this? I'm like, I thought I did. I thought I did the homework. Sometimes you don't. And I mean, that's what they're throwing into the system. But there's always organic, clean ways to get this. Just pure soluble ways to get just pure green, great smoking weed that someone looks at you and says, you grew this? And I'm like, yeah. Tell me to my face you don't want to smoke this.
Yeah.
Smell it. And they buy a blunt, and I have people coming back every week. And I mean, it's not just the cannabis, we're students of the plant. The hemp plant, that's where I got in this, was becoming an extractor of CBD, again, natural solvent ways. So I mean, that's what we're doing in our oils. We're not getting the alcohols you get from most people, fighting the CBD. That's what it does. We like to naturally bleed it from the plant, so you're getting pure CBD, and I can show you the levels on our stuff. I mean, I got it on the charts. Again, recipe from my father, and I mean, it's just off the chart things that I have customers coming back to me like, dude, I passed out in the tub. That's what I tell everyone when I give them one, because I have about 4,000 milligrams of these bath bombs, guys. So you know.
Hell yeah.
Don't drive.
No.
Please don't drive on that. Because I mean, they just make you lethargic as hell. I mean, you're just,
I remember one time I got this really bad, like, back sciatic nerve shit going down, right? And I had gotten a bath bomb from the homie, and it was like 2,000-3,000 milligrams or whatever. And dude, I literally, like, my whole body felt like it was asleep. Like, when your leg falls asleep, but like it felt like if like someone took a knife and just cut me from like a half all the way to my, you know what I mean? And I was asleep from the bottom half, like my back and all that, you know what I mean?
Dude,
it was crazy.
Oh my God. Same thing happened to me. We went to Vegas with her family. They're crazy. We walked the strip for like 5 days. I mean, I got blisters on my feet. I'm dying. So I picked up this bath bomb. It was like 150 milligrams or something. I'm like, man, I don't take baths. I'm not that dude.
That's what I was saying. I was thinking that in my mind too. I was like, when's the last time I took a bath and then drove? I was like, when's the last time I even took a bath? Like I shower, honestly. For the record, I do shower, but I just don't take baths.
No, I'm a bath enjoyer. I will occasionally do that if I play soccer, so like after a game or like
soak,
stuff like that.
Now I'm a proficient user because I mean I tried it the next day, dude. Everyone's hurting. I mean we had, quote me, did we have your sister in a wheelchair? Yes. I mean we did it a little hard in Vegas. I mean a little hard. And I'm the only one able to walk. I mean, I'm like, dude, I'm back to normal, dude. We can start drinking again. I mean, it's Vegas. But now that's where I was like, I came back, I was like, I already make this oil. I was like, how hard is it to make a bath bomb? I went to Walmart, got the little kit, the unicorns on it, and from there we've just perfected it, getting the right skin-safe dyes in it, no mecha powders from third world source kids and all that stuff. I mean, we've learned a lot about it. We've just been moving on it with everything we do natural. That's what we try to do from hemp to cannabis and just get the information out there. Again, I'm not the best facilitator of the information because, again, I'm high. And I forget all the...
I was going to ask you, though, like, what is one tip that, like, you wish you would have knew, like, jumping in that you would like to give to people that are just jumping in the growing game so that way everyone's not growing a bunch of crazy nothing?
So many tips.
Man,
watch where you get your seeds from. A lot of people always tell me, California, dude, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, I could explain the genetics behind all these from the North American strains to the European to what you're getting out of California. Just watch what you're getting. A lot of these people are going to say this. They're going to have the high prices on it. They're going to claim, oh, this is the OG Kush from back in the day. This is the Yukon Gold from... It's not, guys. I mean, read up on it. Because, I mean... Now you can find a lot of information behind the strains you're getting. And that's what is such a great help for my guy. He came up, he didn't have a YouTube. They didn't have books on this. I mean, he actually wrote a few books on how to grow. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have this. The way they found out about it was killing whole crops, getting this whole disease. I mean...
Question, though, if there was, like... Because you mentioned how technology is being used to really capture data on strains and explain... the potential, side effects, primary feelings somebody might have on this stuff. They have that on Leafly, Weed Maps. If there was like a Chat GPT or something like that where you could just be like, hey Siri, this guy says he has OG Kush from this place. Can you verify that these seeds are sourced from this place? And like some shit like that.
And usually what I do is I just find the reviews.
Yeah.
And I read that to death. I mean, usually you can find some real good helpful information. People have already tried it, say it works. And most people that are selling you the seeds that are any good and are promising you feminized seeds, and if you're getting males, usually they reimburse you. I mean, that's what I found. The guys that I work with in Europe, they guarantee it. I get one male, they're sending me the whole thing of seeds again. I mean, I love them. They make sure I'm taken care of. And I mean, they call me back.
Europeans are good in that way. They're not. If you're a homie, they're not miserly with their resources.
Yeah. Oh.
And I do that with strains. Like when I go to like say for instance, if I am going to dispensaries and I'm shopping around because I can't get a hold of my guy or whatever that day, I like look at both genetics that they're crossed with, and then I see what those are crossed with, and see what those are crossed with, until I see something that kind of strikes my eye. Like, okay, I can guarantee it'll hopefully taste like that, maybe. And then I buy a gram and I try it, and it's hit or miss. But most of the time, it's hit. You know what I mean? Like,
that's how to be a good consumer. In this.
Yeah.
You understand the genetics, the foundations.
Yes.
And so, therefore, if you can understand what something's been sourced from, or what genetic
where
line
it comes from. I mean, there's a great history about weed. I mean, I'm on a forum with a bunch of guys, and we get in circles about where weed came from. It's linked to Thailand or Asia, but I mean, it has roots. Again, I'm from Brazil. Slavery in Brazil before America, because that's where the Atlantic trade slaves, they ended first. And I mean, to their slaves, they would give them whole cannabis fields. They would give them seeds to grow it because they found it would help them, to tackle these things. And I mean, that, America took slavery to the next level, a little more harsh, but I mean, that's again the roots it has. It found its way to Jamaica. I mean, Colombia with some of that good stuff. Again, I know people that go that far back, these growers, and telling me the things they've risked to get some of these seeds here. I mean, taking plane trips and boat trips. I mean, it's no coincidence. I'm not going to tell you where we are, but we have an airstrip not 3 miles from this place. I mean, these are the strategic things you have to do in this business if you want to succeed.
So, how rec has become legalized here in New Mexico, and generally speaking, how multi-state operators have come in, how the industry is kind of, a little bit corporate in that we're starting to see bigger blocks form. Some people are, selling off their businesses. As things are becoming more corporate, how is that like having an effect on growers in general?
It is. I meet with a lot of these corporate, because I have a few other buildings and I'm trying to get them in, and what I'm learning is they're not thinking about this as a business. I mean, they've come to other businesses. Oh, it's like corn, you just throw it in the dirt and it'll grow. No, there's a little science behind it. You've got to have dehumidifiers, you've got to have humidifiers, fans surround. I mean, there's a lot of technology that goes into this, and they kind of see that as a shortfall.
Okay, so there's enthusiasm about it, right? But they've generally reduced it to being a very simplistic actor process.
That, and I feel like they're not doing the proper research and doing what you have to
due diligence. If you're going to be somebody to buy a cannabis business, then this is
you need to know.
You
need to know.
I would think so. I've had people tell me, we want to do this. I've never grown weed, but I see the potential of the dollar amount in it.
Well, you said earlier
they did some work in a Microsoft Excel file, and now they feel authorized to throw millions of dollars.
Well, suddenly, me who's gone to jail for this doesn't look so thuggish.
Yeah.
And they're asking me like, "Oh, if you grow it, I think I can sell it." And I'm like, "How are you going to sell it? You've never smoked weed. How are you going to sell to a consumer if you don't know the phenotypes in it? You don't know what it's going to help your ailments."
Well, I was telling Raj this earlier, like a lot of people think that they can grow 1 million plants and I'll just sell each plant for $1 a gram. You know what I mean? We're gonna make $10 million, right? Not knowing that if they took maybe half or even quarter of that kind of plant, of those amount of plants, and put all of that love and care that's supposed to go into that, treat them all like babies, you're gonna make $1 million just because the quality of the bud is going to be 10 times better than Joe Schmo down the street that's just trying to shovel some dry ass shit into a truckload and send it off to somebody to trim the mold off, to send it off to somebody to package it, to send it off to a dispensary near you.
Exactly.
So it's not that there's like big corporate coming in doesn't necessarily mean it's then everything's going to shit, but that there is a focus shift away from, like, I guess, quality or precision towards mass production.
And they always miss a step, like in the curing. There's so many steps that go into just curing the bud to make sure that the terps are preserved. And
trimming.
And trimming, and a lot of people miss those steps because they're just like, hurry up and do it because we need 20 more bags trimmed, or just throw it in the processor thing that trims it itself, and we'll keep all the keef and the trim for the pre-rolls. Oh, we're geniuses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff is what's going to really ruin the whole system, because
they make waste out of their biomass. I mean, we take everything we use from the plant. I mean, down to the trimmings, the stems, the seeds.
Yeah.
I mean, we appropriate it into oil. I mean, we use every piece of this plant. There's nothing that goes untouched with us. And a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm saying is like with pre-rolls though, I guess specifically is what I'm saying, like a lot of these dispensaries, they'll throw like a bunch of just like random sugar leaf or stem or stuff that may not even have sugar on it sometimes because it's all been shaken off at that point, and then they just sell those off as actual $10 pre-rolls, when if I'm buying a $10 pre-roll, I want that shit to get me high for at least 2 hours. You know what I mean? $10. You know what I mean?
Same
And
philosophy.
yeah, like I remember buying $20 grams, and that shit would have me high for 5 hours because I'd smoke the whole gram in a blunt, and me and my cousin would call it a fucking day.
Yeah.
At 16. You know what I mean? Like straight up and just have fun. You know, but. I think a lot of people taking the quality out of the plant or just putting whatever they feel like they might be able to sell off to people as pre-rolls and $100 ounces or whatever. Like, because I've seen your stuff and it's worth every penny, right?
Oh,
but then I've seen other people's stuff selling it for the same price or whatever, and it's just dispensaries at that, and it's just like you go in and look at it and it's a bag of sticks and stems and a couple of nice little buds in the middle or whatever. And it's just, it's a folio game rather than like a foolproof game. You know what I mean? That jar's talking.
Dude,
I love it.
I'm just like, I'm putting it outside of where I can kick it, and it's like,
he's all, I'm here.
Bring the jar up. Tell everybody.
Oh yeah,
what we
show
got
that
here,
shit.
actually.
This is
here.
He's like, show me.
Yeah, show the world your creation.
We call this a green goose feather.
Oh
So,
my
I mean,
god.
and that's after it's dry. I mean, you have to imagine it was.
Oh yeah.
really-
It was far more girthy.
It was taller than my mom, who's
stuff.
about 5'6", and she was trimming it.
He jumped in the cold pool for a second. Hey, leave him alone.
Oh man! Last season was just amazing because we just had that rain. I mean, an early monsoon, guided through a long monsoon. and then
Heaviest
it lingered.
rainfall since 41, right?
Yes, sir.
41.
41 in Berlin.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So I mean, the planches look beautiful. I mean, the groundwater we already get is just spectacular here from the aquifer. So I mean, they get that very solid green and just that girth, and then it rains and they just light green and just pray.
Yeah.
It's just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
No, your Granddaddy Purpt and your Supa Purpt is like the purplest shit I've seen in like 12 years, honestly, dude. So
I
congratulations.
got taught by the gentleman who made the strain, the Granddaddy Purpt. and
That's amazing.
That's where it.
By which
Quality
is
comes
also my favorite indica.
Yeah?
In terms of just the main reason I got started using cannabis was combating insomnia, right? Like I was one of those like high achieving Indian kids in high school, like star athlete student, and then I'd be like up basically in front of a screen the entire time, to the extent where I found it impossible to like get more than 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, up until discovering cannabis. And so like that was one of the strains. Like I remember the first few times I'd smoked, it had been some bullshit that was grown in somebody's backyard in Western New York State.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Buffalo.
Nice.
But then one time, like the homie was like, "Nah, this is from California," and I slept for 16 hours.
See, that's cool. You have that experience. You've seen the side of it from East Coast to West Coast, how it's nurtured, how it's done.
Yeah.
What is ranking high here is not quite high enough over here. And I think that's what's great about America is that's why I go all over the Midwest, West Coast finding these strains. Is I'm trying to link this. I'm not trying to let this get McDonald's yet. I mean, there's just so many great growers out there. There really is. Just a lot of people. Every time I meet someone doing it the right way, it's just kudos, man. Because I mean, the environmental impact they have, how many sacks of oxygen their plants are putting off. There's a lot of things, a lot of data they're not giving us. They're not putting out there. That's
Or putting into perspective, either like you said,
Yeah.
like if there's, let's say for instance, 1 billion marijuana plants growing right now, it is depleting oxygen in the air. You're right. Like what if that's kind of weird to think about. Like oh, you guys want to grow weed? Go grow all the weed you want. What are you gonna breathe?
Right?
Yeah. So that's kind of scary to think about, honestly. Wow.
I know, man. Being put into cuffs to be putting cufflinks on to talk to them about it now. It's different.
Well, now we're part of the population control, it seems like,
That's interesting that you mentioned data, because, like from a tech perspective, you could take all of that data and use it to make, like, software that, imagine, like, if you could automate, the light and humidity controls in a grow setup from a mobile app on your phone.
which we do.
Yeah.
We can check how much input it is. If it's getting dangerously hot, we have an AC go out.
Yeah.
We're turning it off. It's giving us all the data.
That's all existing technology, like IoT devices. So having these, you could feed data into these types of tools and have them make better recommendations based on, and that would be good for like first timers, right? We're like setting things up maybe in an unfamiliar geographic location.
It's great to do these things. I mean, if you're doing the indoor, the outdoor, I mean, for the indoor, you want to know how many lumens you're putting out to your plant because that will allow you how high you're going to get it, how much you want to keep it bushy, the genetic. I mean, there's so much that go into it. That's why it's just, I mean, there's a million ways to grow weed. There really is. And I mean, there's a million ways to grow weed right. So, I mean,
are there educational programs out there for growers, like people who want to get this information, or is this really just at the end of the day some stuff you just learn by doing?
Yes and no. I mean, I still learn stuff every day from this video. I'm on a forum. Anyone can grow cannabis. It's out of California, and I mean, they're all over the world, and they go step in step teaching you. You can call them. They can tell you what strain you got, how to properly keep it, what water to give it. If you start seeing deficiencies in it, you just show them on your opinion. They do a face-to-face with you, and they can give you the proper analysis of what they think you should do. And I mean, I think that's just great for everyone because that's just spreading the love. I mean, this isn't something that's a corporate secret, locked and involved, and you guys don't get to know how this awesome weed's grown.
Yeah, if we're all going to grow weed, let's all grow really good weed.
Telling you the secrets I've learned about the soil, the secrets you've learned on how to harvest the water cleaner and get it through fewer filters and keep less water. I mean, there's companies doing that out of California. I mean, the innovation on it is just, it's through the roof, and we're learning more and more about it. So, I mean, you can every day learn more about this, and I think that's what we can do. And there's other educational things like there's continuing eds, or they're actually starting to have programs at the colleges now, which is awesome that they're trying to go that way. Because, I mean, my whole life, it's been a drug. You've been in trouble for having it. I've been caught smoking it under the ditches. I mean, that's where I came from. I mean, my father, he passed just before it was legal. His whole life, he smoked weed. And I mean, this is even while he was a politician, and I mean, he didn't care. He saw the health benefits in it. He didn't do it to be cool. I mean, he was the biggest closet smoker I know. He did it because he had ailments. I mean, the guy fell off a 2-story building, broke 3 vertebrae in his back. He needed something a little stronger than, he doesn't want those Oxycontins or the things you can get hooked to or things that are dangerous. He wanted something a little more natural, and that's where he found to help him. And I mean, this is someone they told him, you're not going to walk again. I've seen my dad run. I mean, he was back up and at it. I mean, that didn't slow him down. And I mean, I love to think that cannabis gave him that edge.
Performance-enhancing drugs. No, I mean, that's what I guess, as we kind of finish up here today, what is the one thing you wish growers had access to that maybe you didn't have access to earlier on in your career?
Just knowledge.
Just
the knowledge you can always learn. I'm still learning. I'm a master grower, but I don't feel like one. Because I swear I learned so much stuff that everyone's like, didn't you know that? I'm like, yeah, I knew that one. There's so much stuff in this industry, man. It's incredible. I mean, I've learned it on my level to where I can do it successfully, and I mean, people respond. And I think if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I mean, I encourage anyone to do it. Because I mean, again, it's just spreading the love. This isn't something that's going to wreck families. No family of 5 is getting hit right now as we speak by some dude that's high. I mean,
there you go. Anybody can do it.
Anyone can do it.
Welcome to another episode of Strange Damage. Thank you, everybody. Good night.